a good experience. I discovered a lot of good people live here. Substantial majority, those coming in and out of Albertson, chipped in with a good heart. A couple of little kids came up and pulled coins. Took a little time for them to stick them in the bucket. It felt like it was their money. Very did. The gentleman stopped, he said, I love Salvation Army. When I was a kid, they did a lot for us. It was a late in the afternoon. I was sitting there and a young woman drove up, jumped out of her car, nice one, handed me a tin of cookies. This is for you. A lot of people said good things, particularly, thank you for doing this. It's a good experience. A lot of good people live here. We're lucky. Why am I here? Second subject. Some time ago I retired. I worked on Point Loma all my adult life, more or less. I retired, just discovered after a couple of weeks substantial depression. I don't do depression. What the heck was that about? My head realized I'd left my family and I wouldn't go back. Spent whole life there, etc. Similar people doing similar things, similar values and what have you, a lot of good relationships. John Hackett said, join Kiwanis. I did. After a little while, I figured it out. This is the best family I ever had. My goodness.
I have worked at Alpine Elementary since 1990, and my kids went through Alpine Elementary. I always brought them to the Youth Olympics, and I think probably through that process is when Bob Jackson grabbed me and said, hey, you know, you help all the time. You really need to be part of this group. And so I joined, and I happened to join in April of 2003, and the Cedar Fire happened in October of that year. It's a kind of a difficult thing to explain, but you have your immediate family, and then you have a family like this. It was really important to me to belong, and I was very fortunate at that time to belong to this group in October, because you needed more than your family at home. You needed to be able to help. And it was just a very heartwarming experience to be part of Kiwanis and be able to help not only Pine Valley where I live, but Alpine and all the kids that I'm with at school all the time. So that's why.
When we moved to Alpine, actually we built and moved in the 70s. We both worked, Ellen and I both worked downtown, so we were one of the leave early Monday morning, come home routine. And the one thing we didn't have was friends. We had the family, but not the friends. We used to go down to the Alpine Man. Where is the Alpine Man? There he is. Even before the Alpine Woman was set up, we went down to the Alpine Man. We met and talked with Joe after work. And finally one day Joe said, we need to see you at Kiwanis. And that was a great thing, because it not only gave us a club, but it gave us friends. And even today, you go down to a grocery store and you can't get through without saying hello to somebody. Even as big as it is. It was a small town then, but it really meant so much to us to have friends.
Just as a short story to add to what Carol said. With my involvement in this group, I've done a number of things that I've truly enjoyed. One thing that I've taken upon myself was the Santa. I just barely make it, but I have a red suit, that's all that matters. And I was here at this function that Carol put on, and one thing happened that I'd like to share, and it's a warm fuzzy. Kids will come up and they'll hold you tight and when you're Santa, and some of them scream, mostly just the girls. But one thing happened, I'm sitting there, a little boy came up with tears in his eyes, and I got him on my lap and started talking to him, and he told me what he wanted. And then he started to sob, and I said, "What's the matter, young man?" He says, "Santa, we don't have a chimney, we have a pellet stove, and I don't know how you're going to get into the house." I believe his mother had heard this before. And she handed him, or not handed him, but said, "Remember what I gave you?" And oh, yes, and he reached in his pocket and he pulled out this very ornate antique key. And he's handed it to me and he says, "Mom says this will get you in the front door." And I saw the look in Mom's eye. She wanted the key back. So I suggested to the little fella that, you know, I get this quite a lot and I don't have enough room on the sleigh for all the keys. But if you and your mom will put that key on top of the light by your front door, when I get there, I'll send an elf to get it. And you should have seen the look on his face. And his mother's too. Absolutely a great club, and without it, I wouldn't have been involved in any of that.
Nice. I should have become a member years ago, but I thought I had to be involved in every single thing that you do, and I thought there is no way. I mean, I'd be 24 hours, 7 days a week. So Larry Curtis said to me, and I didn't even know Larry at that time because Bob Wilson was my sponsor. Larry said, "Oh," he said, "you just do what you want to do." He said, "You don't have to, do everything." And so I was glad. I said, "Oh, good, and I will know that." And so I try what I can. I know I'm not at all your events, and I don't come to the breakfast every Saturday, and that's because I'm with my dogs. This morning, JC, my husband, I said, "Now walk the dogs. Don't forget to walk the dogs." He said, "Okay." So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you.
Field service. We were so fortunate that when Jeannie and I moved up here, we were working day and night and weekends, and we just found a way to get back, and what a better way than this club. Thank you very much.
It's really been great. During the NUM situation, I was in the downtown club. Everything was done by committee. When I retired in '72, we traveled a bit, came out here, and immediately I said, "Kiwanis is for me, serve the community," and I've tried to do that all these years.
Yes.
I think it was his main recreation. He didn't do much else, but he just wanted to be honest. Well, he did some work around the house. But he certainly loved his Kiwanis and meeting with all of you and getting together for breakfast with a lot of the members. And may I say I have $5 happy because I too am going to be a great grandmother very soon.
Every time I come here, I'm overwhelmed. There's so much goodness in one room, so much love. It's incredible. This is just a small thank you to Kiwanis for all you did for my husband John, for our family, for the community of Alpine. You are the greatest. Thank you all.
My Kiwanis career started in a small town of Issaquah, Washington. At the request of one of my son's teachers, my son is a special ed kind of a kid, he said, "Do you have a few hours that would make the world a better place for your son?" And of course I said yes. And they hung a Kiwanis badge on me. And it's been that way since, I believe, 1982. So when I moved from Seattle area down here, my one request was I could find a Kiwanis club that was as good as the one I was leaving. And I did. Thanks, guys.
Well, I moved to Alpine in 2001 when Joe Brunel sold me a house, and shortly thereafter said, you gotta join Kiwanis. And I said, well, I used to be in La Jolla Kiwanis, and he said, well, that was our sponsoring club. So the reason I think Kiwanis is so important, and I said this the day that I was inducted into this club, is Kiwanians use their back. We get out and we actually do something. We don't just write a check, don't just give it lip service, but actually get out and clean up somebody's yard. I remember shortly after I got in, some lady up at the mobile home, just somebody called and said she can't clean it up, she needs some help. So 8 or 10 guys went up there and did it. And that's guys and gals, sorry. But that's what's so important about this club. And I think what makes this club the best is you do that not only for the community, but for each other. And I've often told when I had my heart surgery and couldn't take the trash out, Kiwanians came and took the trash out for a month. I've seen Kiwanians go and clean other people's yards. Kiwanians completely change landscape because people couldn't do their landscaping anymore. It's a fantastic club, you take care of each other, and that's why the events are so successful. Because you don't want to leave, you're afraid to be at home out of fear that only 2 people are going to be there to break down. So you got to get up and go help your friends. Thank you.
Well, this really makes it a special occasion, a special occasion. Thank you for the quiet. It is a very special occasion every time we bring in a new member. And this, I think, is kind of a special honorarium, since Pat's been a member here for a long, long time. So what I'd like to do is ask Pat to kind of introduce our new member and give us a little background.
Okay, he was stressing over preparing, and I'm going, oh, just keep it short. They don't want to hear too much. So Brent's a great volunteer, and I know he's anxious to work with all of you and make good friends, and he has the time now, so he will be a great asset to this organization.
Good, thank you, Pat. Now I'd like to ask you to give us a little bit of background about yourself and what you do. I understand you're retired now. And what you think you might do with this club. And just a reminder that this is the last time that you get paid fine free.
Thank you very much. My name is Brent Wolf. I'm originally from the state of Washington. After my military service, I got out of the Army, I moved to California, specifically Alpine, and found a beautiful young lady. Got remarried. That's been 30 years now. I've been active in the community and other service organizations. This one has always really piqued my interest. You guys have been around a long time. You do a lot of outstanding things in the community. But anyway, I went to work over North Island Naval Air Station. I recently retired after 37 years and 3 months. Like Patsy had said, I've got plenty of time on my hands. I'd like to share that time with this club. A little note, it's been 20 years ago when I was really introduced to Kiwanis. It was from Bob Howell. Bob and I both worked at North Island. Bob was on the F-14 Tomcat fighter line, working on the H-46 helicopter flight line. Bob found out I lived in Alpine. He's been chasing me ever since. So Bob, you finally caught me. I appreciate that. It took a little while.
You know Bob?
Other than that, I'm here to help. Looking forward to helping. And I'm ready to hit the ground running.
All right.
Ask you to do the honors of the official membership pin. Being an Army type, we know how the Marines do that, but we won't draw on the blood this time.
He's a jolly good fellow.
I think we have a co-chair here, right?
There you go.
All ready?
Okay, in your official membership badge, note that there are 5 stars on that badge. And we call upon the sponsor to help you get rid of those 5 stars. You can do that by attending special events, division council meetings, these kinds of things. But the quicker you can get rid of those stars, the more you're going to fit right down. And we also have a president's pin. Last but not least, because it's never done until the paperwork's done, but this is your membership package, and it was specifically tailored to you. Inside of that is a club history. There's a roster of all of the club members with phone numbers, email addresses, and a reminder that this is club confidential material, but you're certainly welcome to use it. And with that, please welcome our newest member, Rebel.
I myself am just honored to be a member of this club and have people like Curly Kyer and Bob Wilson, Carmelo Manuel, who I knew quite well. And these are all giving people, and that's what we're doing. Thank you. Thank you very much.